you can still own a gun and smoke a joint. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC, P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. Before we talk about this, yesterday, I did a video on others in the state of Connecticut, and I got a lot of good feedback. Now, if you know of FFLs or people who are selling others still, I'd love to hear about it. It'd be just to give people somewhere to go if they still are looking for that platform. I understand that some people don't want the attention as far as the FFLs go. I leave it completely up to them whether or not they want to announce that they are doing it or not. It's fine. It's just, once again, I want people to have somewhere to go if they want one. But let's talk about this here. There's a case from, it was in May 2022, and this kind of slipped under the radar. It's been very quiet. But this is another case that has foundationally repercussions from Bruen versus, or NYSRPA versus Bruen. This is another case where that case has set precedent for what is happening here. I'm going to give you the background on this. May of 2022, a person, I believe his name is James Harrison, was pulled over in Oklahoma. I guess a basic traffic stop, they're not saying why, but the officer could smell marijuana. And subsequently, he searched the vehicle. He did find marijuana and a loaded revolver. Now, let's make sure I get all the details. The driver of the car was on probation for aggravated assault. He was indicted by a grand jury for possession of a firearm, with knowledge that he was an unlawful user of marijuana. He took it to court, and a judge, actually a Trump appointee from what I can understand, has said that you cannot strip him of his rights to a firearm because he uses marijuana, because that's unconstitutional. And he used the Bruen decision as part of his foundation. But let's get some more detail. I'm gonna jump right over here, and this, once again, like I said, this has been under the radar because this just popped up on my feed today. I saw this and I thought that's interesting because I hadn't even heard about this case. And this is from the Zero Hedge. U.S. ban on pot users owning guns ruled unconstitutional. Another week, another defeat for the gun grabbers. A federal law barring marijuana users from owning and possessing firearms has been ruled unconstitutional. In a 54-page ruling in favor of Jared Harrison handed down Friday in Oklahoma, U.S. District Judge Patrick Wyrick said the government cannot claim that Harrison's mere status as a user of marijuana justifies stripping him of his fundamental right to possess a firearm. It's the latest of many rulings against gun restrictions that are following in the widening wake of last June's watershed U.S. Supreme Court ruling in NYSRPA versus Bruen. That case established a test that judges across the country must now apply when evaluating gun control laws. Such laws must be consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearms ownership. The mere use of marijuana carries none of the characteristics that the nation's history and tradition of firearms regulation supports, wrote Wyrick. Further, the United States has not identified a single historical law that is distinctly similar to the one barring marijuana users from possessing firearms. The DOJ tried to relate the general firearms ban against marijuana use to laws that targeted intoxicated people. Wyrick, a Trump's appointee, wasn't having it. Quote, the restrictions imposed by each law only applied while an individual was actively intoxicated or used intoxicants. Under these laws, no one's rights to armed self-defense was restricted based on the mere fact that he or she was a user of intoxicants. That's very interesting. Very interesting language. Where the 7 DOJ-cited laws took a scalpel to the right of armed self-defense, this marijuana gun law takes a sledgehammer to the right. Harris's public defender, Lauren Deskin, called the ruling a step in the right direction for a large number of Americans who deserve the right to bear arms and protect their homes just like any other American. The federal government is expected to appeal the decision. And there's a Twitter feed here. Somebody's talking about it. And then it gets into, which I've already explained, how this all came about. Now, that's actually factual, because what we're seeing here, imagine if they were to apply the marijuana intoxication idea to gun ownership, they could say, well, if you drink at all, if you drink alcohol at all, we can do the same thing. We can take away your right to own a gun based just on that premise. Because I'm not going to say everybody who uses marijuana is 24/7 stoned. They're not. So how are you going to use that one moment of that person being under the influence of marijuana to then say you can't have a gun because of that one, half hour time that person was under their influence? This is a good decision by this judge. Now, obviously, it's going to keep moving up. And the Bruen decision is starting to cause some serious, I wouldn't even say ripples, I mean tidal waves across all these anti-gun laws. Okay, Bruen has been mentioned in other cases. I did one on where a judge stated that you could build your own firearms, and 80% lower receivers, Vanderstock. That was another case that Bruen has now come up as a precedent or a foundation for that law to be unlawful. And I'm speculating, my opinion, the arm brace rule is going to get the same fate. Is going to end up in the same position, that they're going to deem that it does not follow the tradition of firearm ownership in the country. I'm sure the anti-gun crowd is very upset, but I don't care, because what they're doing has nothing to do with anybody's safety. That's a whole nother discussion that we can have. But this is another case, because as I said, the government's going to fight this, and they're going to push it to the next level, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So, let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence and statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.